What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA playoffs. Friday, April 22nd. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, NBA playoffs. We have a 3-game slate tonight. So let's take a look at the point guard position. I still like Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks playing the Miami Heat. Trae Young has averaged 50 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 35 minutes per game with a 35% usage rate. He's projected at 50.2 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.3 times value. He's 9,400 DraftKings salary, 400 less on FanDuel. Trae Young has scored 39, 23, and 57 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 40, 28, and 40 minutes. So I like Trae Young here versus the Miami Heat. I also like Chris Paul from the Phoenix Suns playing the New Orleans Pelicans. Chris Paul has averaged 40.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. He's projected at 47.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.3 times value. He's only 8,900 DraftKings salary. Now he has 1,300 more on FanDuel, so I love that DraftKings price. And Chris Paul has scored 44 and 64 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 36 and 35 minutes. So I like Chris Paul here versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. Here's a value play. I like Delon Wright from the Atlanta Hawks playing the Miami Heat. And Delon Wright, now he's only averaged 14.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 19 minutes per game with a 10% usage rate. But he scored 19, 21, and 12 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 29, 20, and 20 minutes. So I like that he played 29 minutes last game, projected at 21 fantasy points here tonight. On DraftKings, that's 6.2 times value. He's only 3,400 DraftKings salary, 500 more on FanDuel. So I think he makes an interesting value play, especially on DraftKings. So I like Delon Wright here versus the Miami Heat. I also like Zach LaVine from the Chicago Bulls playing the Milwaukee Bucks. Zach LaVine has averaged 39 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 35 minutes per game with a 29% usage rate. He's projected at 38.7 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.3 times value. He's 7,300 DraftKings salary, 100 less on FanDuel. And Zach LaVine has scored 27 and 40 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 43 and 36 minutes. So I like Zach LaVine here versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. I also like CJ McCollum from the New Orleans Pelicans playing the Phoenix Suns. CJ McCollum has averaged 38.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 35 minutes per game with a 28% usage rate, projected at 42 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's $8,200 DraftKings salary, $400 more on FanDuel. CJ McCollum has scored 50, 48, and 28 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 39, 43, and 42 minutes. So I like CJ McCollum here versus the Phoenix Suns. Okay, who do we have at the small forward position? I like Bogdan Bogdanovic from the Atlanta Hawks playing the Miami Heat. Bogdan Bogdanovic has averaged 28.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 29 minutes per game with a 22% usage rate. Projected at 29.4 fantasy points here tonight, that's 5.3 times value. He's $5,500 DraftKings salary, $700 more on FanDuel. Bogdan Bogdanovic has scored 41, 12, and 35 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 28, 25, and 29 minutes. So I like Bogdan Bogdanovic here versus the Miami Heat. I also like Kevin Huerter from the Atlanta Hawks playing the Miami Heat. Kevin Huerter has averaged 23.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game with an 18% usage rate. Projected at 26.3 fantasy points here tonight, that's 5.3 times value. He's $5,000 DraftKings salary, $100 less on FanDuel, and Kevin Huerter has scored 29, 16, and 21 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 33, 23, and 28 minutes. So I like Kevin Huerter here versus the Miami Heat. Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. I like Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks playing the Chicago Bulls. Giannis Antetokounmpo has averaged 58 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 35% usage rate. He's projected at 60 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.4 times value. He's $11,200 DraftKings salary, $800 more on FanDuel, and Giannis has scored 75 and 55 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 40 and 33 minutes. So I like Giannis Antetokounmpo here versus the Chicago Bulls. I also like DeMar DeRozan, although this is more of a DraftKings play for me. DeMar DeRozan has averaged 43.4 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 36 minutes per game with a 32% usage rate. Projected at 44.1 fantasy points here tonight, that's 5.1 times value. Now he's $8,600 DraftKings salary, but he's $900 more on FanDuel, so I prefer that DraftKings price. DeMar DeRozan has scored 61 and 42 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 44 and 42 minutes. So I like DeMar DeRozan on DraftKings here versus the Milwaukee Bucks.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on.
Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, moving on to the center position. Probably my favorite play on the slate. I like Nikolai Vucevic from the Chicago Bulls playing the Milwaukee Bucks. Nikolai Vucevic has averaged 40.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 25% usage rate. He's projected at 44.1 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.7 times value. He's $7,700 DraftKings salary, $600 more on FanDuel, and Nikolai Vucevic
has scored 48 and 57 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 36 and 38 minutes. So I think he's underpriced here, especially on DraftKings. So I like Nikolai Vucevic here versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now I also like Brook Lopez from the Milwaukee Bucks playing the Chicago Bulls. Brook Lopez has scored 38 and 28 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 35 and 32 minutes. He's projected at 29.4 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.5 times value. He's 5,300 DraftKings salary, 400 more on FanDuel. So I like Brook Lopez here versus the Chicago Bulls. I also like Jonas Valanciunas from the New Orleans Pelicans playing the Phoenix Suns. Jonas Valanciunas has averaged 38.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate, projected at 38.4 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. He's 7,400 DraftKings salary, 600 more on FanDuel, and Jonas Valanciunas has scored 32 and 55 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 26 and 30 minutes. So I like Jonas Valanciunas here versus the Phoenix Suns.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.